What is GSMA?
GSMA is an industry association unifying the world's mobile operators and tech industry as a whole.
So your members are names like?
Like Vodafone, like Orange, like Bharti, Airtel in India, like China Mobile, like AT&T and Verizon America Mobile, but also Google, Facebook, Airbus, Salesforce, etc.
You're here at this event here at COP. Why?
Well, because we are convinced, and we have done many studies, that mobile technology is one of the technologies that can certainly help us achieve net zero.
In what way?
Well, in many different ways. You can take energy, for instance, and energy providers. Today we have difficulty in connecting windmills, connecting solar power panels, and it's quite a low number percentage-wise. I think it's roughly 10% of the windmills that are connected and 30% of solar panels. And being able to switch on and off on renewable energy is a key thing in order to save us firing up fossil fuels.
If you look at where we are now, the pandemic has really shown us that, and people said, we've got a lot greener because we didn't go to work and we didn't drive and there were birds and everything was great. But there's an energy cost. There's an energy cost for us being online. There's an energy cost for me using my mobile phone. There's the huge costs of the servers and the infrastructure and the towers. What are you doing as an industry to look at that?
That is very true. And if you look at our total emission from the telco industry, it's roughly 0.4% of global CO2 emissions. Now, we're working to reduce that even further by installing new technology, but we also have something called the enablement effect. And we take that 0.4%, if we take the mobile technology and we deploy it correctly through energy supply, through transportation, through business and buildings and manufacturing, we are able to save up to 10 times that. So that's up to 4% of CO2 emissions that we are able to save by deploying mobile technology in the correct.
And I get that, and I think that's a great thing. So we talk about the smart grid, we talk about Internet of Things, and it will enable us to do things like switch my heating off, all of that. But the industry itself, what are you doing to make sure your materials are cleaner, that things don't have a quick end life, that there's more of a circular economy? What are you doing to address that when you put up a tower, the tower is made of, I don't know, molded plastics that can be recycled? Do you know what I mean? There's an element of, yes, you're an enabler, but you have to do something about your own net zero.
Oh, absolutely. So we are working hard, and we have done for decades, of reducing our power consumption. Right. That's one of our biggest cost items. So rest assured that, and that's one of the reasons why we're continuously pushing out new technology, smarter network planning, smarter solutions, and trying to figure out what is the easiest, smartest way of providing connectivity from you to me, from you to internet. And we've clearly stated that power is coming down, and one example is, of course, 5G, which is 90% more effective in transporting a bit than 4G and previous technologies. So that's clearly so. When it comes to the longevity of handsets and etc., there are plenty of initiatives going on there as well. In India, in Europe, you're welcome to hand in your used handset and get a replacement phone, sometimes with a discount. We have, together with 17 mobile operators, something called the Joint Audit Corporation, JAC, that is looking into how do we improve the supply chain, how do we improve the procurement process, and how do we think in a circular way. So that is certainly something that is ongoing as we speak.
Now, if you look, before we end, we've got to talk about the future. And we're here with COP, and we've had people, I was there yesterday in the Blue Zone, amazing, people from lots of different, and there was a guy from Africa, straight from Benin, and he said, what we need help from the richer countries to help us to avoid emissions of the future, right? So, and a lot of people see that the mobile technology, the jump, no landlines, you go straight to a mobile phone. How do you, because it seems very much a Western world, a first world thing, mobile. There's this digital divide. What are you doing as an organization, as a group of all these companies, to try and make sure you don't leave the more vulnerable, the poorest people behind?
See, that's a really good question. We call that the usage gap.
Right.
So half of the world population are connected to internet. So 3.8 billion. 3.8 billion is not. And that's your question. Now, the smallest part of that, so 500 million or so, they don't live beneath a coverage. They don't have 3G or 4G. 3.3 billion does. 3.3 billion people do. And of some reason, they don't connect. So why is that? Well, it's affordability. It's too expensive. So we work with the World Bank to provide, much more effective taxations. So we can actually provide the service cost effective to you. Affordability is one. Skills. Many operators have developed their own from GSMA and other institutions, skill training tools to up your skills. That's number two. Number three, which is very tricky, is that the stigma around going out on the internet is quite stark, and we need to work to sort of normalize that, to say there's not only bad things, there's actually some good things as well on the internet. But I would argue that the biggest one is that there is no local relevant content there for me. So I have money, I'm not that afraid, I know how to use this thing, but I've been out there, I've looked what Barack Obama looks like, or what Washington looks like, or London for that matter, but I don't find any use for it. So we need to be able to help entrepreneurs at the edge, where it really matters, to make their product, their innovation fly. So we're doing that through GSMA, and we're investing a lot of money in our foundation to foster an entrepreneurial culture.
Before we go, you've got this session today says mobile net zero. How can mobile tech help us reach net zero? In one short sentence, what will it do? What will it do in 20 years' time to have gotten us further on the path?
We will be much more connected. We will have a huge amount of help from the connectivity. You will have AI tools to better predict what's going to happen, and therefore you can take a better decision. The decision will always be with you, but AI will help you. And couple that with IoT, with sensors, so you have the correct information, you are connected ubiquitously everywhere. The life will be different, it will be much better.
Matt, thank you for joining us on FutureNetZero.com.
My pleasure, thank you.